Thank you for joining us here tonight. I'm going to rewind the clock to start here for a moment. In the 18th century, it's a long time ago, the Sobalski family emigrated from Poland to Canada. In that process, they set up a farm in Barry's Bay, Ontario. And the land, which was largely infertile, did not provide Canada's promise of sustainability and fortune. Thus, in 1965, and against all odds, this Sobalski family relocated to the manufacturing hub of Kitchener, Waterloo, a community that promised to be rich with opportunity of another, more industrial kind. The family settled. Alex Sobalski got a job at Panel Veneer. Isabella Sobalski focused on raising the 9 children that they had spawned over the previous 25 years. Shortly thereafter, Alec, a suffering alcoholic, was ironically and unfortunately killed by a drunk driver. Isabella, with 5 of 9 children still living at home, learned to become a welder at the ripe age of 55, got her driver's license, and carried on in what can only be described as an incredibly brave fashion. Over 2 decades separated a single generation of Sobalski. These 9 children moved on to achieve both incredible and devastating things. One of the youngest, Michael, went on to receive a mechanical engineering diploma from Conestoga College and eventually became the CEO of multiple international manufacturing businesses in both New York and Toronto. But the fourth, and one of the middle children, Richard, born in 1956, had a very different story. After a 30-year career in long-haul transport and on-and-off battles with alcoholism, Richard unfortunately lost his job due to the addiction. The shame, the guilt, and the disease eventually destroyed his family. And before long, Richard was no longer at his home and no longer able to support his children. Richard was homeless in downtown Kitchener. Isabella is still alive today, albeit in a comatose state due to extreme Alzheimer's. Her body is still strong. She is my grandma. Adeline, my mother, was the 5th of the 9 Sobalski children. Richard is my uncle. I found Richard via a unique vehicle, a Facebook group called Homeless in Waterloo. There in my feed was a man I recognized, a man with the same gray, blue eyes of my own. I had known Richard was no longer with his family. I did not know that he was, without question, homeless. I see Richard regularly in downtown these days. His peers fondly refer to him as the Polak. In fact, Mayor Barry Verbanovich informed me of his nickname. I spoke to Richard prior to today's presentation. While he was not comfortable attending in person, he did share at length that the downtown community of not-for-profits, public services, and most importantly, the House of Friendship had saved his life. Richard lost his job, and in his words, eventually hit rock bottom. He never imagined this for himself, and in the words of Executive Director, and I feel like I can say this because I'm actually wearing John Newfield's shirt, every single one of us is just one crisis away from a similar fate. As members of this community, we have the obligation to support our members in need. Their friends, their family, and most importantly, they're just like us. What is the House of Friendship? It's a bundle of offerings designed to support men and women in positions similar to Richard. Their addiction treatments and support saved him from his own demons, allowed him to get back on his feet, find supportive housing, and ultimately return to society. House of Friendship also provides support to children in low-income neighborhoods and provides them with the opportunity to attend camps. These camps can change their path through life, socializing and exposing them to new and exciting opportunities to reorient their direction and hopefully avoid future crises of their own. Now, if you're like me, finding time to participate is often difficult. Time is a very valuable asset. So I have pre-selected 2 of House of Friendship's endeavors that I think fit into the busy schedules of this ecosystem and community in particular. House of Friendship needs your help every morning from 6 to 8 a.m. This is before the workday, to help with their overflow space from their other House of Friendship shelters. There's an increased demand during the winter months, and these spaces provide a warm and inviting space to spend the night safely. Once at this location, which is St. Matthew's, a House of Friendship representative can speak to them about addiction services, if needed, as well as more permanent housing in the near future. Number 2, Trek for Kids. Kids living in low-income neighborhoods across the region are not able to afford summer camp. Supporting the Trek for Kids hike and bike can fund an entire week at an overnight camp for the chance of a lifetime this summer. It builds skills, confidence, and experience which can inevitably shape their future. If you want to learn more about the House of Friendship and their amazing initiatives, come talk to me or my colleagues in these wonderful burgundy shirts, Margaret, Dawn, and Jen. I'm looking forward to seeing you all at the Trek for Kids. Thank you.